The acrid stench of scorched flesh hung heavy in the air as Linda pressed the lighter against Eleanor's ear. Eleanor's scream pierced the quiet afternoon, her frail body crumpling into the flower bed she cherished. Linda, the HOA president, smirked with cold triumph, unaware she had just brutalized the mother of a decorated Marine Corps general. Her world was about to unravel. It was a warm spring day in 2023 in the peaceful suburb of Meadowview Estates, Virginia. Eleanor Thompson, 74, knelt in her garden, her hands tenderly coaxing life from the soil. For 35 years, this patch of earth had been her refuge, a vibrant tapestry of daisies and wildflowers that held memories of her late husband, George, who died 3 years prior from heart failure. Their home, a modest two-story bought in 1988, was filled with echoes of their 3 children: James, now a 2-star general at Camp Lejeune; Sarah, a pediatrician in Oregon; and Thomas, a lawyer in Chicago. Eleanor stayed rooted here, unwilling to leave the memories woven into every corner of the house. The garden, especially, was George's legacy, each bloom a testament to their shared love. Meadowview had changed over the decades. New families brought laughter to the streets, a sound Eleanor cherished, reminiscent of her children's childhood. But the arrival of Linda Grayson, the new HOA president, cast a shadow over the neighborhood. Linda, 57, swept into Meadowview 4 years ago, winning the HOA presidency with promises of order and rising property values. Instead, she ruled with an iron grip, her clipboard and measuring tape her weapons of choice. She nitpicked everything: grass height, mailbox colors, even the types of plants allowed. Eleanor, with her wildflowers and vintage garden gnome, was a frequent target. Fines piled up, draining her fixed income, but Linda's wrath focused on the vulnerable elderly residents and minorities, while the affluent on Oak Lane escaped her scrutiny. That fateful afternoon, Eleanor was watering her beloved zinnias when Linda's heels clicked ominously on the sidewalk. "Mrs. Thompson, this garden's a disgrace," Linda snapped, her voice dripping with disdain. Eleanor, puzzled, looked at her flourishing blooms. "What's wrong, Linda?" she asked softly. Linda's eyes narrowed, her measuring tape snapping out. "Your daisies are too close to the property line. That bird bath's an inch off regulation. And those wildflowers? Not on the approved list." Eleanor's heart sank. Those wildflowers, George's favorite, were planted before his illness, a riot of color that drew butterflies and neighbors alike. "Please, Linda," she pleaded. "They're all I have left of George." Linda's laugh was sharp, cruel. "Your dead husband doesn't need flowers. This is a community, not a memorial park. Rules matter." The argument escalated, Linda's voice rising to a venomous shout. "You're a blight on this neighborhood," she spat. Eleanor, tears welling, stood her ground. "This is my home. I've lived here 35 years. Linda's face twisted. "Then it's time you learn to respect authority." Without warning, she pulled a lighter from her purse, grabbed Eleanor's arm, and pressed the flame to her ear. The pain was blinding, a searing agony that drowned out Eleanor's screams. Linda held the flame for seconds that felt like eternity before stepping back, smug. "Now, maybe you'll follow the rules." Eleanor collapsed, clutching her burned ear, blood and fluid dripping as she gasped. "You're a monster." Alone and trembling, Eleanor crawled inside to call 911. Paramedics arrived swiftly, followed by police who documented her injuries with grim faces. "This is assault," Officer Daniels said. "We're arresting her." At the hospital, doctors confirmed second-degree burns, warning of permanent scarring and partial hearing loss. Eleanor called James, her voice shaking. "She burned me, James." Over the flowers Dad planted. James's response was ice cold, a general's resolve. "I'm coming home, Mom. She'll pay." James arrived that night, his Marine uniform a stark contrast to the hospital's sterile white. At 54, he was a commanding presence, his medals gleaming as he sat by Eleanor's bedside. "She'll never touch you again," he promised. What followed was a reckoning. James's calls to legal teams, federal investigators, and military contacts unleashed a storm on Linda. She was arrested for aggravated assault, elder abuse, and endangerment. Her $600,000 bail, barely a hiccup for her wealthy husband. But James wasn't done. He uncovered Linda's reign of terror, extortionate fines, embezzlement of $900,000 from the HOA, and hidden cameras spying on residents. The FBI and IRS descended, exposing mail fraud, wire fraud, and civil rights violations targeting the elderly and minorities. The media erupted. HOA tyrant burns widow's ear screamed headlines. Linda's face plastered across screens. Victims came forward. An elderly man forced to dismantle a memorial for his wife. A Latino family harassed with false immigration threats. A black couple targeted for their yard sign. The criminal trial was swift. Doorbell footage showed Linda's deliberate cruelty, and her remorseless testimony, "I was enforcing standards," sealed her fate. The jury convicted her in hours, sentencing her to 7 years and $3 million in damages. Federal charges added 12 more years for corruption and civil rights violations, her assets seized, her life dismantled. Eleanor healed slowly, her scars a daily reminder, but she refused to let Linda's cruelty win. She expanded George's wildflower garden, a beacon of beauty that drew children and neighbors. A settlement from the HOA lawsuit funded home care and a fund for other victims. New HOA leaders scrapped Linda's rules, restoring Meadowview's warmth. Linda, now in a federal cell, lost everything: her home, her friends, her husband, who fled in shame. Eleanor, surrounded by her family, watched Linda's sentencing with quiet resolve. "She can't hurt anyone now," she told James. What would you do if someone attacked your loved one over something as trivial as flowers? Should HOAs have the power to destroy lives with petty rules? Comment below, share your thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more gripping stories. Where are you watching from?